Well, hello everybody. Welcome back once again to JJ's PC Builds. It's time for graphics card nightmares. Believe it or not, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it, so do enjoy your time right here. And hopefully you got your soda and you got your snacks, because we're going to make it a little bit of a long one. So we're going to try to do the best we can and make it fun. Alright, we're on the action screen right now. Figure I'd just take y'all along with me. And like I told y'all in the beginning, when it comes to, doing everything, you see everything I do A to Z, so that's just the way it's going to roll. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take and fix the screen again. That way y'all don't have to see all that extra nonsense. There. That makes it a little bit better, so we're going to go ahead and just fix it all on up and everything else. Alright, we are now on the action screen right here on JJ's PC Builds. And don't forget, this is Graphics Card Nightmares. Okay, here we are on the action screen. Let's just jump right into it with Amazon and see what they got going on this week. See if they got anything good going on this week. Let's see. Let's do graphics cards. Wow. Graphics cards for gaming PCs. Okay. So this is the way we're going to start out with a little bit of this today. Alright, we're going to go ahead and look at, from A to Z. We're going from A to Z. So it looks like the Azurix has the RX 580 for $108. It's going from $129 to $108. It looks like the price hasn't really changed since last week. So moving on down the road, 3060. The RTX 3060 for $289. Now, and this is the 12 gigabyte version. Look, let me explain something to y'all. Graphics cards are graphics cards. Okay? Oop. Let me fix that before we go on. Graphics cards are graphics cards. Okay? If you're going to have light gaming and you just want to do a little bit of creator work, light gaming stuff, 3060 is pretty good. And it seems they're showcasing the 3060 a lot. There must be a reason why they're showcasing it. Maybe because they're trying to sell out the stock. And don't get it wrong. If they're just trying to sell out the stock that they have on hand, or they're trying to make a cash grab for it, don't put all your eggs into one basket when it comes to the 3060. Now let's get back to the action screen. So, and I'm going to tell you, the 3060 is not the best of the best in the world. Okay, for $300, it's not that bad neither. So it's not the best of the best, but it's not that bad. So if you're looking, because it's only got 15 gigabits per second, okay. Now, if you were to look at the 4070, right, just for say, if you go, because that's the 3060, if you go look it up the 4070, right, the RTX 4070, and do it under the specs. Okay, so let's say you're looking up the 4070, right? Looks kind of familiar on the settings, because if you look at it, it's the AD104. It's got 5,888 cores. It's got 184 TMUs, and it's got 64 ROPs, and it's got 12 gigabytes of VRAM, and it's got GDDR6X, 192-bit. Moving on down the road, show you the real reason why I'm bringing it up is because it's bandwidth. I mean, look at the memory clock. It gives you 21 gigabits per second, right? So it gives you a bandwidth of 104.2 gigabits, sorry. So looking at that, when it comes to that, so, come back over to here, and this is giving you 15 gigabits per second. It's GDDR6. It's not GDDR6X, it's GDDR6, and that's 15. And the 4070 RTX 4070 is 21 gigabits per second. Right here is what determines your speed of it all. I've noticed that for many of times that, I've seen this down to like 12, and everybody's selling certain GPUs for like $400, $500, $600, with the 12 gigabits or 15 gigabits, and they're selling it for $500, $600, $700 with only 15 gigabits per second. And you go over to, everybody is knocking down the 4070 because of the price. Okay, now I'm going to explain something to you about the price. You pay for what you get. Okay, now if you're going to pay for garbage, you're going to get garbage. If you pay for an upgrade, then you get an upgrade. If you think the upgrade's going to be garbage, then that's up to you. But I went and bought the 4070. I know it's not garbage because I'm using it all the time. So I have not taken it out of my system since I had it, since I first got it. It's been plugged in since, and it has not changed. I'm running it with the B550 motherboard. Yes, I'm still on the AM4 platform. I mean, they got right here the 3050 for $265. I mean, if you go up a couple dollars more, you get the 3060. Does that make sense? No. It's a cash grab. Like your 2060 right here for 14, well, you got $415 right here for a 2060 12 gigabytes. It's still GDDR6. It's like the 3060. You got the 2060, the 3060, and then you got the 4060. Okay, what's cheaper than the 2060 is your 4060. See, now that's how you, if you want to look at price to performance, I'm sure you're not going to buy a 2060 if the 4060 is for cheaper than the 2060. Or, if they're running them at the same price, then, I can see if the 4060 was $300, right? And this is $400, then it only makes sense to go with the 4060 compared to the 2060. But price to performance, when it comes to the 2060 to a 4060, you're best off to go with the 4060. Just my opinion. For that kind of price, yeah, you're best off to go with the 4060. So, the 580, these off brands, I see everybody's doing a lot of them off-brand things, where they're checking the off-brands. They're saying, oh, some of them are used and this and that, If I buy anything off of Amazon, it better be brand new. If it's not brand new, you can take and stick it right up your whatever. So let's not go any further than that. Just saying. I'm not going to buy a 1650 4 gigabyte for $169. This is a nightmare right here. 4 gigabytes. Okay, let me explain something to you. When it comes to 4 gigabytes of VRAM on a graphics card, those prices should be below $80. Price to performance, you have that below $80. You're not going to get any more than what you're thinking you're going to get up. If you're that crazy to buy that card, the 1650 4 gigabytes for $170, then you're just as crazy as I thought, because that is a nightmare. paying $170 for a 4 gigabyte card. Okay, that's, I mean, what are you going to get out of it? What? You're not going to get anything real performance out of it. Compared to the newer cards that are out, you're best off to go with the newer card. 1660 Super. Look at this. Right here. This is nothing but a cash grab. That's all it is. Nothing but a cash grab. So, I mean, look at this. A 1 gigabyte for $70? Come on. That's ridiculous. When they're doing the 1 gigabytes right now, you can get them for $5. This $70, that doesn't cut it. These off brands are just too much. Okay. I just want y'all to understand. Look very carefully before you buy. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And it looks like they're pushing nothing but the 3060s on Amazon, doing a cash grab with all these off brands, that buy their product from China, and what they do is they get everything pretty much on a used price. I've already caught this with one company that was selling on Amazon. Okay, I'm going to tell you straight up. I bought their graphics card, thought it was going to be the best in the world. Turned around, it was from China, and they bought it for half the price that I paid for mine. So, and basically when they buy it in bulk from China, they're paying only $25 to $30 a card. And if they come on here to Amazon, sell it for $100, $115, they're already making double their money. So it's common sense. Know what you're buying. Now that right there, that card is just a freaking nightmare that I got. Let's look again and see what else I can come up with. See, what's coming up is the 1660, the 1650, the 3060. You might see one or two 3070s. Look at that, $700, 3070. Well, $650. 3070. Now, they're selling that for higher price than what you can buy the RTX 4070 for, and you can buy that for $599 and get better performance than the 3070. And right here, the price is this is a nightmare. And 19 gigabits per second, when the 4070 does 21 gigabits per second. So that bus speed don't mean much when them gigabits per second's only down to 19, and 4070 might have 192 bit, but it's still running at 21 gigabits per second, so it's running at a higher clock. So this right here, you're paying for aesthetics. Okay, I asked the one gentleman in Micro Center when I was out there. I asked him about a set of cables, Lee cables, the ones that light up. And when he told me the price and said, "Oh, they're $50 for this one and there's $70 for this one," I said, "So basically you're paying for aesthetics?" And he said, "Yes." So, basically you're paying for the aesthetics. You're not paying for the performance. When you pay these high prices, you're paying for the aesthetics, not the performance. So do get that in mind. When you spend $600 on a card, and I should have really looked, but the thing is this: I should have gotten a card with RGB on it, but I didn't. I didn't get a card with RGB. I got the Asus Dual RTX 4070. 2 fans, no RGB, perfect for me. It's the blacked out version. It looks good. So, but I got RGB in my case, so I don't need any more RGB than I already have. So I didn't need any more. So that was perfect for me. You know, look at this, $314. Okay, so you're looking at performance-wise, you know, I mean, you're not really getting as much. 3060 to a 4070, you're best off to just go with the 4070. You know, when it comes to the 3060, 12 gigabytes, yeah, it's more than the 4060 with 8 gigabytes, but you're still paying for the aesthetics when it comes to the performance. Now, when you get past that and you look at the raw power compared to the aesthetics, there's a big difference in that, you know. But like 1660 Super, you're just paying for the aesthetics. You know, you're not paying for the performance, you know. And that's what it looks like they're trying to sell you, the aesthetics more than the performance. So if you need a case that says 1660 Super on it, go buy one for $40 and keep it on your shelf. And make a cardboard cutout of the inside of the PCB. You know, it's a lot cheaper that way than to buy it like this. You know, this is kind of ridiculous. You know, with these kind of prices, they should be shot for these kind of prices. You know, like the 4070 they got here for $625. Right here. This for $625. Okay. Now the thing is this, you can still get them at MSRP. You just got to look around, but you can still get them at MSRP. This company right here is a joke. Because they buy all their crap from China. And usually the way it is that they're buying a used processor with a brand new PCB. And that's what you get when you buy this crap. So don't buy it. It's a nightmare. So, you know, again, I wouldn't buy something that looks like that. That looks like it's just been pieced together. You know, I'm giving you guys an honest opinion. And look at right here. They're doing this again. 4070 OC. 12 gigabyte GDR6X. Now understand this. I got the Asus Dual RTX 4070 OC. Yeah, mine's got the little switch too, but I paid $599 for it. And after everything else, you know, it come down to a cheaper price. Yes, I did buy it from Amazon. At the time, it was a good grab, so I just grabbed it up. You know, believe it or not, I just grabbed one up because I felt that, you know, it was a good deal at $599. They weren't going to stay at $599 forever. They dropped the price down since when I bought it. They dropped it down to like $40. And then it came back up in the price again. But let me make you understand something. When I got it, I bought it on sale. And the actual price, after all the rebates and everything else, brought it down to almost close to half of what it's worth. So basically, if you can get it on a rebate deal, you can get them down to half price. Okay. How you wheel and deal, that is up to you. But I can tell you, I wheeled and dealed. I got mine down to half price. Okay. So, moving on down the road. We are going to go to Newegg now. Let's see what nightmares on Newegg. So, you know, a lot of people now these days, they just don't look at the total picture. They just look at what they want to see. With blinders on, when you walk around like this with blinders on and you don't see what's around you, then you kind of miss the boat. So, I'm just telling you, don't miss the boat. Stay on the game. $50 higher to get this one because they figured, they're going to charge you extra $50 for one fan. That's how I look at it too. You're just charging you $50 for an extra fan. You're still getting the same PCB as the Asus Dual RTX 4070. It's still the same PCB. I don't see any difference than that. See, when they got this one right here close to $400, you go $200 higher, or right here $200 higher. Well, not that one, but you can go $200 higher and get yourself something better. I mean, only reason everybody's buying this is because they think this one here is going to be a lot better than the RTX 4070. So they figured the 3060, if they did it at half price, it's nothing but a cash grab. Y'all just keep buying into this cash grab. That's all this is. When you learn and you realize, holy crap, he was right. They're doing this for a cash grab. Okay. Now, that's the reason why they put these on sale and they mark everything up. The newer stuff, they mark everything up to force you to buy the older crap. And then when you realize that you should have bought the newer stuff, then guess what? You're stuck with the older stuff. I was looking at the older stuff and I was thinking to myself, why would I buy the older stuff when the newer stuff's going to last me a lot longer? Plus I get better advantages, better performance with other things. Yeah, the price is a little higher. So what? You pay for the performance. And with inflation and everything else, you better look at the real picture and wake up and smell the coffee. You're not going to get things as cheap as it was before this recession and before this inflation hike. You're not going to get prices like they had before the pandemic. Okay? Now, the prices back then were a lot better than they are now. Okay? They were a lot cheaper back then than they are now. So, if you're looking to get in, you figure, well, it's $300, you can get in 30, 60, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, pay $300 for it. If you feel that GPU is worth $300, then pay $300 for it. I don't think it's worth $300. I really don't. For the price to performance, I don't think it's there. And I know y'all can tell me whatever you want to tell me until you're blue in the face. But I can tell you by looking at all the numbers that everybody else is doing, putting them all together on an average, on many of the reviewers, take all their numbers and put them together on an average, it still doesn't equal up to half of the weight of a RTX 4070. I'm sorry, it doesn't. I've already did my homework, and it still doesn't weigh up to the fact. Okay? Everybody's using a different motherboard to the fact. Everybody's using different RAM to the fact. Everybody's using a different hard drive, SSD drive to the fact. And everybody's using a different graphics card to the fact. So you can't really compare every apples to oranges, is because everybody's using something different. They're not using the same thing you're using when you go to benchmark this. So that's why you got to throw them all into a bunch and then put it as an average, and guess what? It still don't equal up to the same shit. So That's the reason why I go through, I have graphics card nightmares, and I go through it every week, so you can go back and see what happened last week compared to this week. And as I see what last week was and this week is, it's the same crap. Everybody says, oh, prices are dropping. Yeah, on certain graphic cards to get a cash grab. This is to keep the companies fatter in their pockets by doing this little cash grab. Just like they did, and I'm just going to say this, just like AMD is doing with the 5600 X3D. They're taking all their crappy parts. They're saying, hey, to Micro Center, we can do this for you, so Micro Center's selling it for them. But, Micro Center's not responsible for AMD. They're just selling their products. That's all they're doing. So Micro Center, I don't blame whatsoever what they do. They're trying to make the money, just like everybody else. I blame the company that, that's at fault. So, when they do these little deals and sales, everybody's like, oh my god, they got a sale, I gotta get it. Okay, you go ahead and get it. Remember one thing, they've already made their money on this goddamn thing. They already made their money back on that GPU. Everything is nothing but a cash grab. It's nothing but profit to them. Let's say they got 100,000 graphics cards in a warehouse, right? And the price to produce that 100,000 only cost them 1/4 because they bought it in bulk. So let's say it cost them $500,000 to make $100,000 worth of cards. Okay, so you take 500, 1, 2, 3, and divide that by 100, 1, 2, 3. That means it's only costing them 5% per card. So they're making 95% off of every card they sell. That's the honest truth. They're making 95% off of every card they make. So if they sell the card to you for $150, they're making $125 off of it, $130. Just to say, now these are just averages. These ain't the real world numbers. These are just averages. And as examples, so moving on down the road, let's see, they even got cards that are dating back 14, 15 years ago that they just keep pushing onto the newer market, and they keep everybody buying and everything else. Look, they even got the 7600 right here for $279. If that was dropped down to $249, that's a better deal than the other ones. That's a better deal than the 4060. So, but performance-wise, you have to look at the performance-wise, okay? What's going to be better performance-wise compared to one to the other? Well, the 4060 would probably be a little bit better in performance, but everybody would steer to the 7600 because the cheaper in price is because of inflation is driving this force of everybody to buy cheap instead of buying, something that's better and more, decent. If I'm just going to say, if there was no inflation and everything else, I guarantee the 47 RTX 4070 would probably be down to like $500. Okay, if there was no inflation, it'd probably be down to $500. So for the price to performance at $500, I'm still gonna say it's not too bad. So, and I know the 6950 XT is out there, but I've had my share with AMD, and no matter what price, no matter what they put out there now these days, it's just like nvidia. They're going to both putting out the same amount of garbage that everybody's expecting to they dig through the garbage to get to the gold. Okay, that's what's happening right now, is you're all digging through the garbage to get to the gold. Okay, where's the gold? Who knows? Is it going to be this generation? No, it ain't going to be this generation. It'll probably be 2 generations ahead before they actually put something decent out with better price. So, $6,600 for $190, not too bad. Okay, not too bad. So, we're going to go ahead and move on to eBay. E-waste. eBay. Say it right. eBay. eBay. Okay. Now we're on eBay. Let's see what we can find. It already has it pre-imp for us. Let's go ahead and just get right on it. Let's see. Let's buy it now. All right. Now, I'm gonna take and fit it in a category. No, I'm not gonna fit in that category. We're just gonna go down the road and see what we find. Quattro, nope. 1080 Ti Founders Edition, nope. See, another nightmare. Even though that it's a 1080 Ti, I still can't see paying $175 for it. 3060, you're best off to go buy brand new. 3080, maybe. With it being at $419, maybe. Depends on if it's in decent condition. 6600 XT for $179. Again, if it's in decent condition, maybe. 6700. 225, maybe. 5700 for 144. No. I think that needs to go down to 99. I would imagine $99 would be better. $6,600 for $160. Used. That's still running into the category of $30 more or $29 more dollars. You got brand new with the warranty. That's not considered. Nah, I wouldn't put that in as used. Sorry, that's a nightmare right there. That's a cash grab. So let's see, 3080 for $400. That's teetering. If they went down another $100, made it like, instead of $400, made it $300, then I can see it being right in that good price. So a 3070 for $294. 8 gigabytes of VRAM. I hate to tell you all this. VRAM ain't everything. most of your RAM that comes in for your FPS and everything else is coming off of your hard drive. I mean your motherboard. So your system RAM is giving you that FPS. That VRAM that you're getting off of your graphics card is not coming, you're not getting your FPS from that VRAM. I can tell you that right now. And on the next video, I'll even show you that you're not getting anything, any FPS off of that VRAM, and all of it's coming from your system RAM. And that's the reason why you always hear them say, put in faster system RAM, you'll get better performance. Well, why would you say that if it's already got VRAM on the GPU? That's what brought it into question in my mind until I tested it, finding out that the VRAM had absolutely nothing to do with the FPS. And everybody's thinking, oh, the VRAM's got something to do with the FPS. No, not at all. It's got something to do with the matter of the fact of buffering for the system RAM, more or less like a cache kind of thing. That's basically what your VRAM is a cache, like the cache on your SSD drive. Same thing. So finding that out, and your system RAM is the one that's really taking the brunt of it, that's the reason why I run 64 gigs of RAM. I've already pulled the VRAM on this card up to its max, and I shouldn't have seen no FPS whatsoever. But guess what? I seen the same FPS pulling that VRAM up to max or leaving it down the same. Now when I do the system RAM and I pull that up to max, VRAM drops. Or no, not the VRAM. The FPS drops when the system RAM, I pull it down to near its knees. Just the system RAM. That should be the opposite way. Something is not right when I measured this. Something's not right. And everybody's like, oh, the VRAM, oh, the VRAM, oh, the VRAM. Hey, I'm going to tell you this. I'm only going to tell you this one time. Games only use a buffering, basically, not, when it comes to your video, it's just using a buffering. When it comes to your VRAM. Okay? Now, your system RAM is what takes the brunt of it all. And that's the reason why I said just with an iGPU is about almost the same as running a discrete graphics card. And I even said this. So you want to know where the nightmare is? Nightmare is in the graphics card itself, on what they built it to be, what the imagination built it up to be. So you can test it out for yourself and tell me if I'm wrong or not. But I'm going to prove you wrong every time. And I'm going to prove you to the fact that the VRAM is not being utilized for the FPS on your game. It's only being utilized for buffering. Video buffering. That's it. It has nothing to do with the FPS on, for your game, for your system. Has nothing to do with the FPS. Your system RAM has to do with your FPS. Now, the lower that goes down and the more that you use, it's causing the latency, causing it to lag, causing the FPS to drop. That's the reason why they tell you to put faster system RAM in there. It's common sense. It is common sense. So So you have to look at it, like what you're going to do. Okay, now, if, just to say if, you go into, let's see, let's see if we can pull this up right. Okay, I'm going to pull this onto the screen really quick. Okay, you go all the way down, and you see where it says triple buffering is off, right here. Where you said, now if you turn that on, it's only going to give you 3 times the buffering that you're going to get. Now with the buffering off, you're getting between 10 and 20 times the buffering because of the VRAM. So, are you better with this on or off? You're just getting better buffering for your video. It has nothing to do with your FPS. Your FPS is based upon your system RAM, and the faster your system RAM is, the better you're off. Okay, so moving on down the road, we're at 41 minutes so far. Depends on what you want to buy. I mean, I know I kind of steered off course a little bit here and there, but I just want to give you the idea, that, when you're buying something, and a lot of people say, well, if you bought the 4070, right, and a couple years down the road, it's going to lose its value from the $599. In actuality, it's probably not going to lose its value, because they got the 3070 up at what, $500, $400. Is it losing its value? And it's older than the 4070. Okay, you look at it that way. It's not going to lose its value. Maybe 3 or 4 years down the road, it'll probably gain value. Especially when you see it on the used market, it's probably going to have more of a value on the used market because there's less out there. Okay, that's what gives it more of a monetary value, is when there's less out there, then more people want it, then the demand drives the price up, and boom. It's going to be worth more than what you think. So if I hold on to it for 4 years, 5 years, turn around and I sell it, I could get more than what it's worth. But, the thing is because I'm with me and graphics cards and any PC parts whatsoever, I take care of them very carefully. I don't abuse them. I don't drive them, I just take care of them. And I use them moderately. So, like 4 years down the road, if I go to sell this graphics card, I bet you I can still get the same price for it that I paid for it. So that's what I'm looking at. Because, 3070 at $310, is 1/2 of the 4070, which is new on the market. Like I said, I checked out Micro Center. Looks like they're selling out. They sell out pretty good on the 4070 Ti's. They weren't doing too bad on the 4070s. So people are starting to realize that the 4070 is better in performance. That's right there down the middle. It's not as slow as the 4060 or the 4060 Ti, but it's fast enough and a little bit faster than some of the AMD cards that are out there. So it depends on what kind of game you play. That's going to determine your price to performance. But if you're going to say price, everything is about the price. And you buy something that's going to cost, if you buy, let's say you buy a 3060 and they had it on sale for like maybe $260. Okay. And that's brand new, had it on sale for $260. You know, then when it comes down to it, that would be a better deal. But, you know, when it comes to it at the price it is at now, it's over, you know, between $300 and $400. You know, being an older model, you know, a couple years old, it's not holding its value as, let's say, the 4070. Compared to the 4070, you got better price to performance compared to the 3060 or the 3070. 3080, it's kind of in between. You know, if you go on the price of the 3080, you're still buying an older model, but you're not getting DLSS 3, you're not getting all the eye candy that you expect from a graphics card. So you're missing out on all that extra eye candy just because you wanted to save a couple bucks and buying that type of GPU. So you get DLSS 2, you know, you probably don't get frame generation, you know, stuff like, you got, it's a lot of what you got to look forward to that's really going to be worth it to you. And if you're going to play AAA gaming and stuff like that, you know, I could say you could either do it with the 4070, the 4070 Ti, the 4080, or the 4090. Or if you want to really get down to it, the 7900 XT or the 7900 XTX. Those are your best of the best cards that are on the market right now. You know, all the other stuff are your lower cards. You know, I mean, are they going to give you better performance? They could. But are they going to last just as long as the newer cards? They're not going to. The newer cards are going to last you longer, and they're, you know, when it comes to compatibility and everything else, you know, like I said, I took the 4070, I plugged it in with my 5600G processor on this B550 motherboard. It doesn't do too bad. I mean, it keeps up there. It doesn't bottleneck. I didn't see the GPU bottlenecking the CPU. Not whatsoever. I didn't see any micro stutters. I didn't see any artifacting, you know. So I seen a great performance. Moving on down to Micro Center, like usual. We'll go to Micro Center. Micro Center is always the one-stop shop place to go. If it's close to you, I understand. If it's not close to you, I understand that too, and that's the reason why you go with Amazon or Newegg or B&H or Jawa or eBay. You know, I understand which way you're rolling to. Okay, so you got to roll with what's closest to you. That's understandable. So, graphics cards. We'll do that. We'll do graphics cards and accessories. I know y'all probably don't want to look at the graphics card accessories, but, you know, no, we just want to look at the graphics cards. We'll just go with the graphics cards. Okay. It looks like they got the available to ship. The 4070 Ti for $839 and the GTX 1650 dual fan 4 gigabytes for $149. I know y'all don't want to get that, so let's move on down the road. Now, the one thing I like about Micro Center and their site is they put the best of the best on top, and then they work their way down to the worst of the worst. So at least they give you a better option to look at the best of the best compared to the worst of the worst, and you can move your way down the road a lot faster this way too. So you got $849 for the 4070 Ti, $849. So it's $249, or is that right? 5, 6, yeah. $249 more than the 4070, which is not bad, especially when there's like a 23% performance uplift compared between the 4070 and the 4070 Ti. So you're paying about 124 bucks for every 10%, 10 to 12%. Is that a good deal? Kind of is, but it kind of ain't. Depends on which way you want to look at it. So, I still can't see paying $1,800 for a 4090. They got $700 for the 7900 XT, which has 20 gigabytes of VRAM. That's at $700 compared to $849. So, that's $100 more than the 4070, but giving you more Okay, this right here, you save $50. This right here is a better deal. Okay, for $700, this is a better deal than the 4070. Way better deal. You get 8 more gigabytes of VRAM. The only thing you don't get is the DLSS 3, but you get all the extremities, all the eye candy that AMD has for the card. So, all depends. Now, a 3 fan for $614.99, $15, $615. Okay, I can see that for the 3 fans. Okay, that's only $15 extra for getting an extra set of fans. So, but it's 3x overclock triple fan, 12 gigabyte GDR6X. Still not bad for this price. $69.50. They have it marked out from $800 to $650. Okay, so you get about maybe 22% uplift from the 4070 to the 6950 XT for $50. But why would you do that when you can go over here to the 7900 XT for an additional $50 and just get a 7900 XT with 20 gigabytes? Instead of getting 16, you're best to go over here and get 20. $50 difference. $50 difference between these two. One, this is better in performance than the 6950 XT, so you're best off to go over here and get this. Well better. So, you get what you pay for. That's all I'm going to say there. 6750 XT for $359, $360. For $360, I couldn't tell you what that's going to fit into. Because I know the 4070 is like neck and neck with the 6800 XT. So I couldn't tell you if that would be more or less down to the 4060 Ti. but this gives a better performance than the 4060 Ti for $60 more, but probably for about, what, 8% more performance? I don't know. That's kind of a up in the air kind of thing, thinking about it. So, that's not bad. $609 for the 4070. That's not bad price. $300 still for the dual overclocked 8GB GDR6. Okay, now what people don't understand, and I'm going to make this point up really close and carefully to you. Okay, now we're going to go back up here really quick and look at this. This is GDR6. Okay, going down to the 4070 is GDR6X. Okay, there's a little bit of a difference because the 4070 and the 4090 are on the GDR6X platform. They're on the X platform, so I fall more in favor to the 4070, because it's on the X platform. But, if you're looking for a cheap card, 6650 XT, 229, perfect card. That's perfect if you're just trying to, everyday gaming, light gaming, little bit of side work, right here. That ASRock 6650 XT is perfect for you. Looking on down the road. Alrighty. 6700 XT for $309. 6700 XT for $309. Coming back up and looking at this for $229. This is 6650 and this is the 6700. So, and that's the XT and that's the XT. GDR6, that's 12 gigabytes and that's 8 gigabytes. So, yeah, when it comes compared to the two, the 309 would be better than the 229 6650. Okay, because that's 8 gigabytes and this is 12 gigabytes. This would be a little bit better deal for you. Alright, now let's go ahead and go back to the main screen. Final thoughts. And you got my straw in the way. Let me move that out of the way. Final thoughts. Okay. From what I see, what's dropped down in price a little bit is the non-name brands. They dropped down in price a bit. Okay, so they're running at a cheaper price, but they can do that because they buy it from China for half the price. And China, they'll take and make new PCB boards, but they'll take the old processors off of other PCBs and they'll add it right to those new PCBs and they'll turn around and sell them. They get them for like nickels to none because they're pretty much e-waste material. They turn around and take the GPU off of the old PCB, put it onto a new PCB, and turn around and sell it to somebody else, knowing they only paid $5 to do it. They only got $5 into it, so they'll turn around and sell it for $50 to these retailers that buy them for $50, and then they turn around and sell them for $100, knowing that they got a used processor on them. And that's where they make their money. So basically they're selling it, they sell them on Amazon, Newegg, and all these sites. They try to say, oh, it's brand new. You got somewhat of a little warranty, but you don't get much of a warranty. Okay, so you pretty much get none of a warranty with those. Now, as far as like MSI, Asus, Gigabyte, and so on, you'll get their warranty, their factory warranty, on top of getting, let's say, Amazon's, their warranty, or Newegg, if they have a warranty plan, you can get double the warranty. Okay, now is it going to be good if your card just says it just takes a crap on you for no apparent reason, you didn't push it or anything else? Now, are they going to honor the warranty? That's been a throw up in the air a little bit, as people been saying, well, those companies, I turn around and tell them that, I did absolutely nothing wrong. I was gaming and just having a good time, and boom, it just quit all of a sudden. I sent it in and turned around. They sent it back to me and says they're not going to honor the warranty on the card. So is the warranty a better bet to get with a brand new card? Well, this comes to the fact of, again, I'm going to say this. When you buy an old new, I'm going to say old new, okay, like a 2-year-old card that's brand new, that's been sitting for 2 years, not doing anything but sitting in a box for 2 years, either collecting moisture or something else, just sitting there. And then you go to buy it, you go to try it, and you go to play it for a little while, and then what happens is it craps out on you. And then you go to RMA it and send it back and say, hey, this broke on me, I need another one. They do is they'll go through and they'll see what the problem is, and they'll say, well, I can't fix it, so we're not going to RMA this. And knowing that you got sold a product that's 2 to 3 to 4 years old, they sold it for brand new price, and then now you're stuck with a bum card that's a brick that sits on your desk because it cannot be fixed. But there are tech tubers that are out on YouTube that do fix graphics cards, so make sure you look around on YouTube if you got stuck in that situation. There are tech tubers that fix graphics cards here on YouTube. So make sure you have a look if you're having that kind of problem. You can't get these companies to fix your card. I'm sure it's not going to be too expensive, but it's better than have a brick sit on your desk. So that's something to think about. Now, back to price to performance. Okay, now, I'm not looking at price to performance. Not looking at it at all. I'm looking at price to usage. That's what I'm looking at. How many years am I going to use a card and to when I'm going to buy it? Okay, so if you buy it for, let's say, $500, and you use that card for 5 years, and here comes the math again, and I know y'all love me doing this calculator thing, breaking out the calculator. So we're going to break out the calculator, put it right here, and we're going to say $500, and you said you're going to use it for 5 years, so you divide that by 5, and that's $100. Okay, so now for your first year on that card, price to performance, that card's brand new for that first year. Price to performance starts here at that $100. So no matter if you paid $5, $6, $7, $8, $1,000 for the card, it always starts at the beginning. So let's say, I'll use mine as an example. Let's say I paid $600 for mine. I divide that, I'm going to use it for 5 years. Okay, so that's $120. Now, if you go and look for the first year on a new graphics card, you cannot buy a new graphics card for $120. There is no graphics card that's brand new, that's performance-wise, that's going to perform better than the card that I got for $120. So my money is going to be well spent when I spend it on one graphics card and use it for 5 years. This graphics card is going to last me 5 years, so I'm not worried about that. Okay, so that $120 that I pay per year is basically, if I got a new graphics card for $120 and then got one the next year for $120 and so on. And I go all the way down the road, so that means I got more than one graphics card. But turn around, it comes to the 5th year, then you look at all these little graphics cards that you bought per year don't equal up to the performance of that big card that you paid for one lump sum for 5 years. Okay, you would have to take all those little graphics cards, compile them into one to still get the same amount of one that you use them for 5 years. So, price to usage compared to price to performance. Okay. Now, if you're getting great performance with the price to usage, then basically that comes down to your card per day. So you divide 120 by 365 days, or 365 days a year. Comes down to 3 cents a day. So you're getting your price to performance for 3 cents a day. And if you use your card for 8 hours to 10 hours and 12 hours a day, every day for 7 days a week, you're getting more than your money's worth out of that graphics card. Paying $600. So I look at it like I'm only paying 3 cents a day. Now, you can't even get a cup of coffee or gasoline for 3 cents a day. So my FPS is really good. As long as I'm getting in a range of anything that's over 60 FPS on a graphics card, anything that's over 60 FPS is a bonus. So most of your games don't really go over 60 FPS anyway. Okay, so basically the fine line is 60 FPS and up. So if this graphic card is doing better than 60 FPS and up, okay, and I'm only paying 3 cents a day for the graphics card for the next 5 years, okay, then what am I worried about? I'm not worried about anything because it's an awesome graphics card. And that's how I look at it. The RTX 4070, the Asus Dual RTX 4070 is a great graphics card. And it's going to last me 5 years. You know why? Because, one, I don't push, and let me go back and get out of this. So I showed you what my thought was on that. Okay. So, if you don't abuse your graphics cards, because it's got a transistor on top of it. It's considered a transistor. Heats up, cools down, heats up, cools down, and so on. So if you take care of those transistors and you don't abuse them, they're going to last you 5 to 10 years. Just like a motherboard, if you don't abuse it, it'll last you 5 to 10 years. Or maybe even more. Because I got a computer over here that's 12 years old. And it still keeps up on Second Life. And it's a Dell. It's when they were using the standard stuff inside on their motherboards and stuff like that. It's a Gen 2. DDR3 Gen 2. So, guess what? It still runs. The RAM still runs. It all still runs. I use it, maybe 4 times a week. So, it still runs. I'm happy with it. I can put a better graphics card with it than what I have because I got a 4 4 gigs of VRAM graphics card, which is a really crappy graphics card, but I can add a really good graphics card to it. You know, like an 8 gigabyte of VRAM graphics card. I have 16 gigabytes of system RAM. Run that just perfectly. So even an 8 gigabyte card will run in an older system. So don't get it wrong. Most of it's based, when it comes to your FPS, is based upon your system RAM. Older systems, they share more of it with the dedicated RAM and the system RAM. They share it. So it's more or less like on an infinity fabric. But nowadays days, it's more or less that the VRAM's more dedicated to the, you know, for the monitor, the video part of it. And now when it comes to the FPS and the stability of the game is pretty much coming from your system RAM. That's where it's basically based upon, your system RAM. So, but like I said, always look at the beginning to now. Price to usage, not price to performance, price to usage. How long you're going to be using it? Is it going to be worth your time and money to buy it compared to the price on performance? Now, if it performs awesome, you're going to keep it for 5 years. Then you break it down to what it costs per year and then what it costs per day. You know, I mean, your electricity cost is going to cost you more than buying the GPU. If you bought a $1,600 GPU, that's going to cost you just as much as it cost you with the electricity per day. Just a for say. But if you get one that's half the price, great performance, you know, you're happy with it, and, you know, it pays off overall. In 5 years' time, it will pay off itself. Okay, so I'll have this graphics card for 5 years. I'll keep it up to date. I'll keep it nice and clean, A to Z, and I guarantee it's going to last me 5+ years. More than 5 years. So after 5 years, this one will get retired, and then I'll put a new one that'll probably be up 3 generations by then, and then I'll go from there. But I'll have a test bench. That'll be a little bit different story. I'll have a test bench with everything set up for testing, instead of using my PC that I use for creator work and gaming and all that, using it for a test bench. But that comes another time. So we're not going to make this a long video. I pretty much told you my conclusions to this. When it comes to a graphics card, is it a nightmare or is it not? Okay, pretty much, you know, now these days, the way the performance is going on some of the graphics cards that are out there, yeah, it's a freaking nightmare. It's always going to be a nightmare until the companies wake up and start doing something better, instead of giving the population worse to worse to worse, while, you know, they make everybody pay top dollar for the better. So they give you the crap, so you pay for the crap. So if you want something better, you got to pay for it even more. So keep that in mind. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And I want to welcome once again all the new subscribers. Welcome to the family. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds. And all my veteran subscribers, thank you for all the love and support. We do much appreciate it. Y'all watching the videos and helping out the channel. And that helps out the channel when you put positive likes on the videos and you watch the videos from beginning to end. That supports the channel. Since We're not asking for anybody to pay any money to sign up. It is absolutely free, so you don't have to pay any money to watch my videos. Just saying. So, but until the next time, and the next video, this is JJ on JJ's PC Builds. We will see you on the next one.